Alright, I am back with another Destiny 2 video. Yesterday I was just kind of reading the TWAB in full, and my main focus was reacting to the news about the blue changes because I am so personally invested in that. And I probably spent too much time on that when that is probably only the fourth or fifth, maybe most relevant thing in the TWAB. As you know, I was kind of disappointed with the way that unfolded, but instead of continuing to dwell on that, I kind of wanted to circle back to all the other stuff that they talked about in the TWAB and give that a little more attention. We are going to be having pretty much a lot of important TWABs up until the Witch Queen here. There's a lot of stuff to cover, and this may be one of the lesser ones, and yet there's still a whole bunch of stuff to talk about, and this is going to be kind of nonstop from here on out. So I just thought I'd just kind of go back through it. The first thing they bring up is the new power cap and the power floor and things like that. So what they're doing is they are changing the power floor to 1350. So that makes the power floor 20 power above the gear floor that we have now at Pinnacle. As you can see, I'm 1328, not 1330, which is the ultimate max, and then the bonus power is from the artifact. So everyone is getting boosted to 1350, which means you will be high enough to start Witch Queen level content. I saw this being somewhat controversial where people were like, oh, these people haven't earned that power by like playing all year long, and like it's taken me so long to build up this power, and like I don't really subscribe to that. I don't think this is that big of a deal. It's a little weird to have, I guess, the power floor go above the Pinnacle power cap, as we don't usually see that. And yet I do think that this is probably good for the health of the game, because you can just get people to return to the game or play the game for the first time with buying the new expansion without being like, oh, by the way, you should probably go just play, I don't know, like 20 Crucible games or run like 20 strikes until you get, enough stuff to level up from, keep in mind before it's 1100. So even if every drop you get is an upgrade, even to getting to this new floor of 1350 would be like a huge kind of struggle. So after that, 1350, you go to from 1350 to 1500 using only any drops. So this is what kind of usually happens with expansions, where everything, including blue drops, like pretty much anything you get is going to upgrade you, and like all of this will be power irrelevant now. Well, all of this will be 1350 because that's the new floor. And like every drop you get is going to be an upgrade, whether you want to just wear it, like wearing, I remember for expansions, like wearing blues for the first time in years, because that's just, you get upgrades so fast. That's how it happens. But once you get to 1500, then you will have to just do powerful rewards to get to 1550, the kind of formerly traditional 50 power grind. And then the ultimate is 1560, which is Pinnacle. And then on top of that is artifact power, which they have not changed anything about, it seems. The only thing they've changed with artifact is if you keep leveling XP wise, you will be able to unlock all of these things eventually, which is a great change and something I very much like to see. But we don't know how exactly or how much XP exactly you will need to achieve that. This speaks to me of something of like, I just still am not wild about the power chase period. It just seems so kind of pointless, and I was sort of hoping for a more major overhaul of power with the Witch Queen, in that, like, I even heard some rumors that like power level just may go away entirely, in that maybe you just make everything have difficulty levels, and so like, hard is your 20 under power, normal is your at power, easy is your 20 over power, like, master or grandmaster, whatever, is like your 25 under power or something like that, as opposed to just this constant kind of grind. I think most people appreciated that they reduced the grind like completely for the most part in the past year here, where it's really just been the Pinnacle grind for just getting 10 more Pinnacle power each season, as opposed to the 50 power they used to have. Now we are doing essentially the same grind that we always see for the playlist, which is this crazy sprint to a couple hundred more power or 150 power through any drops, which is one of the things that, quote, makes blue still relevant, because those will be power upgrades for a while, and then the traditional power drops, and then Pinnacle drops. Like, it just, I feel like we should kind of be evolving past this by now, and we're not. So I don't love that. And this isn't even for the raid race either, because the raid got a date. It's another thing in here, which is March 5th, which is about 2 weeks after launch. So people are going to have plenty of time to power, and contest mode is going to be on. So it's really just not a factor in the raid race anymore either. So I'm not quite sure what the deal is with this power sprint, continuing to exist here. Okay, so that moves us to Gunsmith Reputation, and I thought about doing a Gunsmith turn-in thing today. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow. But this is the idea that we are getting rid of Gunsmith materials entirely, so you need to spend all of these. I know some people have like 100,000 of these, so you will need to spend them all at Banshee. I just wrote a post about what I think are the kind of god rolls for the current world loot pool that you would be looking to save once you're turning all these in. And then Banshee is converting over to a more traditional reputation system like Drifter and Vanguard and Crucible. That's not a surprise considering, Gunsmith rewards are just tokens. They're just formatted differently and have like a different quantity. So I am not surprised to see that carrying over or switching over, So I would not really expect whatever this reward thing ends up being to be meaningfully different than what we see with the existing vendors that have this. I'm assuming it's going to be some sort of, level up thing. I don't know. Maybe they'll throw an ornament or something in there, and then maybe have an ascendant shard at the end like the others here. But I would not expect it to be all that much different than this. And then you can just get your periodic, engram rewards here, which I assume will still be loot pool drops for him. Is it time to change this, these things that are dropping way under power here? I feel like this is not really... I feel like when they designed it this way, that had more of a purpose, and now it just seems like annoying that every new drop you get is like 40 under your current power, since you can't token spam anymore. I don't see a reason for that. They did mention that the same thing would be happening with Iron Banner, except that is going to be happening, I believe, at the end of next season, the season after Witch Queen. So that is when Iron Banner is getting its grand redesign. And that will be the last vendor that actually uses tokens in the traditional way that we have seen, in the past, where you just stockpile a bunch of tokens and spam them all. I have high hopes that we will finally be able to actually focus for Iron Banner drops, and then I have long shot hopes that we're going to see things like the return of some of the Iron Banner ornaments that were left behind. I'm not expecting a new Iron Banner set already, but because we just got one fairly recently. Was that this season? This season's been so long, I don't even remember. I think it was this season. The underwater tryptophobia clam one, or whatever it's called. Which I think some pieces of that are underrated, even if the overall set does not look great. I'm hoping for new weapons and things like that. I would assume we're going to get some reprised Destiny 1 Iron Banner weapons that haven't come back yet, and then maybe some new ones too. So that is something that is, we're going to have to wait another season for. I assume the Witch Queen season is going to be 3 months, and we're not going to get another like crazy super long season here. So I guess we'll see about that. Besides that, they are back to kind of gunsmith related things. They are depreciating weapon telemetries and mod components. It is hilarious to me that it has taken this long to get rid of weapon telemetries, which are like quite literally the most pointless thing that has ever been in this game. I don't have any saved, obviously, but like this is the thing that you can drop weapon telemetries, which are just like worse versions of weapon parts. They do literally the exact same thing and function no differently than existing gunsmith materials. And like these have been here, I think, since D2 vanilla, and they have never served a purpose. So I'm a little amazed it has taken 4 years to get rid of this stuff. And then mod components are going away. That's good, because guess how much of a pain it is to dismantle these. Yep, one at a time. So you would have to do 2,500 worth of these to get them to go away, but they are just being depreciated and eliminated, and then mods will cost 10,000 glimmer. Again, seems like a pretty obvious change that should have been made a while ago, but at least it's finally happening. And then with the Tangled Shore and stuff leaving, I made a little diagram of this on Twitter, but we're losing a lot of stuff here, which is good, freeing up a lot more space. So this is gone, this is gone, this is gone. These are gone from the Tangled Shore. This is from Season of the Splicer. Once I can spend these will be gone. Lord knows we could get rid of the Hair Always pieces and Phantasmal Fragments from the last 2 expansions, but those are not leaving as far as we know. Seasonal currency gone. Iron Banner tokens sticking around one more season. Season of the Hunt. Tangled Shore. Spirals, I think, they haven't said this explicitly, but I would start spending these where you can, because I assume they're going to be depreciated like they have with all the other stuff we've had there. And then all gunsmith materials, and then parallax trajectory, no other seasonal currency that I am currently maxed out on as ever. I'm surprised these don't have the little symbol here. That's surprising. I do not even really know what to go for. I think I have every role of every Wayfinder weapon I care about. But those are going away, and as are the ghost mods that I love how they bothered making ghost mods for telemetries. I don't even know where they are, but yeah, they exist. Telemetry data. Who doesn't love telemetry data? Apologies for whoever spent the time to design these ghost mods that were useless from the start and will not be doing anything else. They talk about how the Prism and Shard economy is moving over to Rahul overall. And then they talk about how their plan for Hawkmoon and Deadman's Tale, which I found pretty interesting, which they're giving Zur a randomly rolled copy of each of those every single week, which is not cheap. It costs one Ascendant Shard, one Exotic Cipher, 125,000 Glimmer, and 200 Legendary Shards for each roll of those. So you're going to be on the lookout for like the Primo Zur roll of each of those weapons, because it's it's the one perk, but you also get like barrels and whatever, like other magazines and things like that that will be randomly rolled as well. So if you're looking for the perfect one, you will be checking back to Zur. They also confirmed that they are adding all of the current catalysts that are going away into the playlist pool, and they are adding the missing catalysts, Outbreak Perfected, Whisper, and Fourth Horseman, to the what's it called, the playlist pool as well. And those requirements have been changed to complete them to just like get a bunch of kills as opposed to do things in sunset content. And I think those are most of the other additions they've talked about. It's interesting to hear about what they have planned here. They have, over the next few TWABs, we'll be talking about Vanguard Rep, Gambit reworks, weapon crafting, Void 3.0, not in that order, also passionate previews and additional weapon tuning details. So it does seem like something kind of major is happening with Gambit. My hope is that they're at the very least bringing back the 2 maps they sunset. That would be great. I hope they are changing things with Invaders and Heavy Ammo and Primeval Health, which is just pretty absurd. But we will see what kind of the scale of the reworks are, or if they even go so far as to be reintroducing the Gambit mods to that were the Gambit Prime roles. They talked about that a long time ago, as making those into mods and bringing those back in some way. But yeah, a lot of stuff. We need to know, a lot of details about Void 3.0. I'm curious what they mean about Vanguard Rep and how that's changing. I mean, it's pretty boring right now, but and then obviously probably the biggest thing is weapon crafting and how that's going to work. And I assume there will be a pretty detailed explainer about that, as that doesn't seem like something they would need to keep under wraps necessarily. And that's something that everyone wants to know how that's going to work. So besides my sadness about how the blue situation is turning out, where, to recap, they are only going away as end of playlist rewards, so you just won't get them after Crucible and Gambit matches and strikes, but you will get them in chests and from killing enemies, and by far, you get them the most often from killing enemies, and they are not changing anything like keeping them out of your postmaster, things like that. So that to me is like 5% of a fix and not a great way, but again, I won't I won't dwell on that too much. And Zur just arrived as I'm recording this, so we will see if he has anything cool. If so, maybe I'll write that for tomorrow. He's had pretty good luck recently. Would he just like appear in the tower? Is that, or do I have to change instances? I'm just guessing he's in the tower. He's probably not, but we'll just investigate for fun. Yeah, they didn't really give us an estimate as to when this stuff is actually happening in terms of like what is going to be next. I think crafting is kind of the highest priority here. That's what we want to know about the most, but nope, no Zur. I think I might have to leave and then come back for that to even work if he is here. But I really want to hear about crafting. I really want to hear about Void 3.0, and now that my kind of crusade against blues has ended, those are the most relevant things that I want to hear here. And I'm just very curious to see what they do with Gambit, because that's actually more than I was expecting. I didn't even think they'd get to Gambit for Witch Queen, but here we are. And then I think I made a deal that I would throw my PS5 out the window if we got 2 new Gambit maps, which are not the reprised ones. So I guess you can hold me to that, but I think I'm going to be okay. And then, yeah, I think that's it for now in this TWAB. It's really nice to know that the TWABs are going to be pretty relevant going forward and are going to be full of a ton of information ahead of the Witch Queen. We are pretty much almost exactly a month away now. It's what, the 20th, 21st? Yeah, so we are a month and a day away from the Witch Queen. Look how cool my sword is. I love this sword with this outfit. And that is pretty cool. I'm very excited for it, and this seems bigger than Beyond Light. Like it's like a bigger deal because of how long we've been chasing Savathûn and kind of the hype surrounding the Witch Queen in a way that I don't think was there quite as much for Beyond Light, even with the arrival of Stasis. So very excited for this as ever, and it seems like there's going to be a lot to talk about over the next month, including maybe whatever actually happens in the game itself once we decide to return to the Season of the Lost story. So anyway, thanks for watching, and I will talk to you guys later. Take care.